Welcome back, trainers. So in today's battle, we're going to be doing something unique, as we always do. We're going to be using just Mewtwo's against Latios. The moveset that we're going up against is Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw. Admittedly, probably the worst or second worst moveset. Mostly because Dragon Claw does quite a bit of damage. Obviously, Psychic, Mewtwo resists. It's toss up. It's pretty close between Dragon Breath and Zen Headbutt, even though Mewtwo resists Zen Headbutt. Mostly because like Dragon Breath does very little damage as a defensive Pokemon. I know people like using it in gym battles, but in this case, it's like it does very little damage. So it's very comparable to a resisted Zen Headbutt. So the moveset we're using on our Mewtwo's is Psycho Cut, Shadow Ball. A lot of times, Confusion is preferred over Psycho Cut when it comes to raids. The reason why Psycho Cut in this case is preferred over Confusion is because Latios is a Psychic Pokemon and obviously resists both Confusion and Psycho Cut. But because the resistance only applies to the DPS and not the EPS, Psycho Cut has superior EPS. So the trade-off then becomes into Psycho Cut's favor. So we want to be able to cycle through as many Shadow Balls as possible. So on the left-hand side, if you're facing the screen, is Jennifer, also known as Five Apples. In the middle is Alan, or also known as Cooked. You'll see him in a lot of my videos. Obviously, a very engaged individual when it comes to these challenges, and also has a very strong team. And then myself, King, and also known as King Ivy, and as my trainer name, a very uncreative trainer name. So this is actually our second time trying this. The first time we failed, I only had 3 Mewtwo's, mostly because actually probably my second strongest Mewtwo actually had Psychic. And I didn't have I tried to TM. I only one charge TM left, and I got Focus Blast. So then what I ended up doing is I powered up another Mewtwo, and we went back in. The reason why it was necessary for me to power up another Mewtwo was because I was forced to lobby like one more additional time, and then we came right down to the last wire. So you'll see there, it's very important to lobby quickly. One of the things I like to do is I like to get rid of my normal and super potions. That way my max revives is right at the bottom of the screen. I can click on it, go instead of just scrolling down, which just saves like a second or two. But those second twos can certainly add up when it's a really close match. And I think we had really bad RNG the first time we faced Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, because Alan actually had to lobby, the one in the middle, had to lobby right before we hit yellow. Ended up feigning a second time, which actually ended up costing us a significant amount of time in this battle. So because both Jennifer and I only have 4 Mewtwo's powered up, we are going to have to lobby one additional time. And you'll see that in a little bit. And our goal is to hit red by roughly 75 seconds. We do have to lobby one more time, which should come right after this one. I'm lobbying before Jennifer, mostly because like I was able to heal a little bit quicker, and then obviously cycle through more damage, but also then receive more damage. So then Jennifer's lobbying right now, and we hit red in sufficient amount of time. So as long as you hit red, it really depends on the situation. In this case, we know that Mewtwo does more than enough damage to beat the pace that you need to. In this case, the pace, if you were to match the DPS you needed to beat the boss exactly, you would hit red at 75 seconds. But we know that, Mewtwo's time to win at 14, 13, 15 attack is rough against movesets like roughly 830. So you can obviously then proportion down the math, and like we probably even get away with like 65 seconds and still win, even probably even 60 seconds. And you'll see here, Shadow Ball, really one of the best charge moves in the game. Even though Mewtwo doesn't have stab on Shadow Ball, it does does a ton of damage. It's like I think a 3-second duration, 100 damage, which is pretty phenomenal stats. It does have as we talked about, as I talked about in previous videos, it does have like a late damage window in the sense that the damage occurs really late for the raid boss. So we were able to beat it with plenty of time. So, well, roughly 10 seconds left. So I wasn't too worried that we weren't going to beat it. So you'll see here, Alan Valor did the most. Props to him. Part of that is also because like he had 6 Mewtwo's, which each of us had a chance to have 6 Mewtwo's, so props to him for actually having it, and that allowed him to lobby one less time. It was necessary for us to lobby at different times because if there's no one in the raid battle, what ends up happening is the raid boss annoyingly regenerates its health. So here, I had to speed up the left side of the screen just because the catch sequence took a little longer, so I wanted to match everyone up. And you'll see here I'm the right hand throwing. You know, it takes me a few throws to finally get used to it. And this one actually my internet gave out. There's like weird signal. This gym's called the Hugging Tree. It's on Soho and Queen Street in Toronto. If you're ever there, kind of close to Chinatown. You'll see Alan's beautiful throws there. So here I'm like switching between Wi-Fi and not Wi-Fi. See, that's gonna help me. You'll see I end up airing out of the gym. All I need is click back in, and I'm good to go. So when you do these type of challenges, obviously it's important to find the right people with the right team, and then as well understand like simple like raid strategies. Obviously having the right moveset, making sure you have enough revives, max revives, making sure that you are not all in the same battle at the same time. But these are not like overly. In this case, this wasn't. We knew we were gonna beat it. It wasn't like the Lugia trio when we weren't sure whether or not we were actually gonna be able to beat it. But this one was still a fun one. We still have a few more ideas, and you'll see here Alan's actually turning off location. Part of the reason why is that this will avoid what we call like the speed lock issue, where you're go plussing at a different location than where the original gym was, and then he was able to catch it. So good for him. And it was a pretty decent one, 2049. That's not great, but and you'll see here, Alan doesn't have a ton of dust because he's always powering up his next team member. So he's a great lineup, and you'll see I was able to, I think, catch it on the next throw, I believe. Normally, to be honest, I wouldn't even try that hard to actually throw it at this CP, mostly because I get enough candy from rare candies from raids, and as well I'm not gonna power up too many Latios. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that video, and hopefully you enjoyed this voiceover. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.